The Optimus Polaris Optifuel stove has innovations that allow you to use both canister fuel and multiple different types of fuel in the pressurized fuel bottle. So you can use different types of fuel here, and it uses just one single fuel jet, as opposed to other types of stoves that allow you to use different fuels, but you have to change the fuel jet for the different types of fuels. This is super easy to use, and that innovation there makes it a really great value. So we'll take a look at all the different features and what makes this stove so great. The first thing to talk about here is the stove unit itself. And the first thing that stood out to me here was the wide base with these folding pot support legs. So that folds down to be pretty small for the wide base of this stove, and it really protects the stove itself when it's actually stored away. So you just have to fold out those legs, really easy to do there. And the control handle also folds down. So this control handle is really easy to use. It's far away from the flame, so you don't have to worry about your hand getting close to that flame as you're adjusting it. And so that works really well. That folds down. And then down here at the end, you have the fuel connector. It's going to allow you to attach it to canisters. It's also going to attach to the fuel pump that is included with this system. And like I said, you don't have to change this connector out for the different types of fuel. So it's a great innovation there. The first thing is attaching a canister. So this is really simple. You've got the canister pretty far away from the flame there, so that allows you just a really good base. And in order to attach the canister, first thing I do is make sure that flame adjustment is completely closed, so you don't have the fuel leaking out. And you just attach your canister right on to the end of the fuel connector. So once your canister is attached, it ignites really easily. This also has folding supports that if you are in coldest of conditions and you do need that stove to function a little bit better with the canisters, you can actually invert this. And if your fuel is low in your canisters, you can use it in that way. But also in colder temperatures, it's going to perform a little bit better. So a lot of added value there. It's a simple feature, but it definitely makes a big difference. This system doesn't come standard with the fuel canisters. You have to purchase those separately. I have the smaller Optimus fuel canister. You can also use the larger one, but just really easy to attach to the fuel connector. It does, however, come standard with a 10-ounce fuel bottle and the fuel pump that pressurizes the bottle. You can use multiple different types of fuel in this bottle. You can use white gas, kerosene, diesel, you can even use jet fuel. So this makes it really great for travel when you don't know what areas you're going to be in, or you don't know what type of fuel is going to be available to you. In order to connect the system together and use the pressurized fuel bottle, first thing you do is just remove the cap and put the fuel pump into the fuel bottle. Once you've got the fuel pump screwed onto the bottle, you want to make sure the fuel valve here on the pump is completely closed. That way you're able to pressurize the bottle. The other pieces included here are a heat reflective windscreen. This is going to protect the flame and maximize the heat efficiency with your stove. You get the necessary material here to grease the stove when you need to. And you also have a multi-tool that allows you to maintain and clean the stove in the field. There is a stuff sack that you can put all of these pieces in and keep them in one convenient little package. This is the perfect backpacking, camping, expedition stove when you're going to be in a variety of different conditions and you want a stove that's going to perform really well and be very reliable. It is the Optimus Polaris Optifuel stove.